I did a wedding one time of the #1 draft choice in all the United States in professional baseball. He married Miss Texas. And she still is beautiful. And this girl loved to dress up. She loved to go out. She loved evening gowns. She loved long, extended evenings at elegant restaurants, enjoying good company. This guy, when baseball season was over, he had a Ram pickup with a couple of guns, decoys, and he had him a knife so he could field dress whatever he ran over or shot and eat it on the side of the road. This guy was rustic. He wasn't country. This boy was rural. You know what I'm saying? He also happened to be handsome off the page, and she was beautiful off the page, and they got attracted. Both were Christians, and they were attracted to each other. Well, the season would end, and he would do what he had always done. He said, "Honey, we're heading to the woods." "I don't think I will." "Well, I am." "Well, I got a phone call." And it got so problematic that she did the last thing that a woman will do sometimes to get a husband's attention. She fired the flare. She said, "I'm out of here." I don't think she meant to do it, but that's the only way she could get this kid that all of his life he had done what pleased him. Well, all of a sudden your marriage, it's a wake-up call. And you have to do, 1 Corinthians 7, what pleases your mate. See, if you've got a selfish problem as a single, it's like one hand clapping. You never find out. All of a sudden you get married, and we've got some problems here. Life gets real complicated. Paul in 1 Corinthians 7 exhorted single people to stay He exhorted single people to stay single, and his argument was, when you're married, such will have trouble in this world. You know what the Greek word trouble is? Trouble. And that's what you're going to have. When you get married, you now have somebody to bounce your fleshliness off of, and you have trouble, and you have to be willing to live with that, to work through that. Well, I barely kept this couple together because they were so far apart that I had to sit them down and talk about selflessness, self-centeredness, seeking your own as opposed to the good of the other. They never had to do that. All they ever did, their single lives, was feed their egos, the great I am, and they couldn't do that anymore. So there has to be a social or some sort of compatibility. Number 5, there needs to be legitimate passion. It had better be there. I am a believer in this. A lot of guys aren't, but I am. When I say to a couple, "You love the Lord?" "Yeah." "You walking with God? Y'all heading to do great things?" "Yes." "Tell me about your physical purity. Are y'all staying pure?" That guy says to me, "Well, we have no real temptation." I say, "We got a problem." You don't just marry your best friend. You have to long for things that only are done with your mate. There is an intimacy, a passion, an excitement that have to be there. Maybe you can turn on the switch at the altar. I doubt it. There had better be some sort of passion, because where there isn't, that gets really old really quick. See, the marriage bed is the follow-through on all of the spiritual, emotional, social love that you have, all of the delight that you feel in that woman that has given herself and loved you. The delight of it is shown in a physical expression on the marital bed. When a woman has such appreciation for that man who goes out in that pit and works and struggles, the follow-through is in the marital bed. And when that isn't there, there is a problem. In the Song of Solomon, they're not married till chapter 4. There are things said in chapter 2 and in chapter 3 by this single woman that are exciting indeed. She longs for him. That has to be there. Incidentally, let me throw a little note in here. When these things aren't there, when you have a couple that is getting married simply on shallow reasons and the impulse of just longing to be, of this primitive desire that we have to be married, you're going to start running into problems in communication, problems in keeping the excitement going. What happens a lot of times is a couple will go to this kind of panacea. There's a salve that you can rub on a problem relationship, and it will give it immediate relief for about a 24-hour period. It's called premarital sex. In the midst of premarital sex, the worst of couples feels like it's a great relationship. And that's one of the great problems with premarital sex. It's not just that it's sin, but it creates a deception, and it retards the real development of the deeper things. The reason that a couple falls into premarital sex a lot of times is just the pure novelty of eroticism. And on a scale of sexuality, on a 1 to 10, premarital sex that occurs in spontaneity, in combustion, just goes off in an apartment on a eroticism scale of 1 to 10, that's about a 12. And you can't maintain that in marriage. When you get married, it's not going to be this explosive kind of thing that takes off. Oh, every once in a while things happen. But generally, it's going to be the expression of character. It's going to come out of this fountain of character. Now, when you get into premarital sex, you just go around the character. What happens, though, when you get into marriage is that premarital stuff doesn't happen like it used to. And now sex takes place at the end of a day when the man comes in, he's working, the woman is caring for that home, she's doing her deal. They put those kids down, they shower up, brush your teeth, clean up, psych yourself up. All right, time for sex. Here we go. It's an act of the will. You say, you're kidding. Trust me. Trust me. I love it. When I do this conference tonight, I'll make this statement in the next couple of days, and you'll see the married people, these heads are doing this. And it does. And that's why, listen to me now, if that fountain is not there of the fear of God, love, servanthood, kindness, courtesy, helping each other, taking out the trash, if all of those expressions of piety, theology, and Christ-likeness aren't there, sex ain't going to happen. It won't. You're going to go frigid. And that's why couples that get into premarital sex create a deception. They retard the building of what it takes to really develop a relationship, and they build that thing, they cross that bridge on a bridge of balsa. It's on styrofoam. They get into marriage, the fountain of piety isn't there, and now it just becomes frustration, manipulation, the attempt at the kinky and the eroticism, and it doesn't work. And you end up just busting it up. Tony Evans says what was a great deal becomes an ordeal, goes to a new deal. And you just try a new mate and get out of it.